Hello everybody and welcome to my analyzing of the champion durability changes. Riot is significantly increasing the amount of durability on champions. They released a quick gameplay thoughts 5.6 detailing some changes they were going over, but more importantly, Vandrel released a video with some actual specific changes. So I'm going to be going over all those changes, my opinions of those, and trying to explain those so that you guys understand them. Now, I wrote myself a list. Now, some of you guys think that I make this guys for you. This actually helps me because this kind of keeps me focused. I have ADHD. You notice ever since I started doing these, my videos are better. So, going over what we're going to go over in this video. Riot is reducing damage. We'll get that, right? What base changes are happening, meaning, just base to every single champion. What runes and item changes are happening. We're not going to go over all of them here, but what runes and item changes are happening. What item penetration changes are happening. And I think this is important. What item changes are not happening. Healing versus anti-healing. Mana regen, rune resist changes, Baron Nashor buffs, turret buffs, and I'm going to be briefly going over throughout this whole video, and then at the end, will tanks now be overpowered? Because that's something that a lot of people have been thinking about. And yeah, I think it's just a good thing to go over it. So if you want to see Vandrel's video, you can go to Vandrel's channel, and he's significantly more popular than me, so this is sort of a drop in the bucket, but there you go, go Vandrel. So let's look at specifically what changes are they doing. Okay, so first up, we have base changes to every champion. Health growth is going up, base health is going up by 70. Health growth is going up by 14 per level. Armor growth is going up by 1.2 per level. Magic resist is going up by 0.8 per level. These are a significant amount of late game health, armor, and magic resist. This alone, what you have to remember is because armor and magic resist reduce damage by a percentage, that means that in addition to the health, these are quite significant late game durability changes. You have more health and you reduce more percent damage. As everybody knows, that kind of adds up pretty quickly. So this is actually more than I thought Riot was going to do. I expected, if I saw just these health changes, I'd be like, oh, yeah, okay, that might kind of make sense. But the armor and magic resist changes in addition to that are kind of substantial. My first thought when I look at this, just this in total, is, boy, anyone who doesn't have penetration late game just is not going to deal much damage anymore, are they? In addition, the squishy champions who don't have much armor at all late game, or particularly the ones that don't have much armor or health, are going to see a sweeping buff because they're getting a lot of armor and health, the same as everybody else. But the difference between a squishy and a tanky champion right now could be up to 500 health late game. So when every champion is getting 300 health and 20 armor, 300 health and 20 armor, that's the difference between like a tanky bruiser and a squishy 80 carry. So yeah, this is actually rather substantial, and the number one worry I have here, and this kind of goes into are tanks going to be overpowered, is tanks and AP bruisers, champions who don't have easy access to percent pen in their itemization or stuff like that, they're not going to be hurting people much late game. But let's go on. They are also nerfing penetration. Now, personally, I thought this needed to happen. That's my personal opinion. With these changes, sketchy. But anyway, Void Staff is going back to 40% pen, which has needed to happen forever. Lord Darming's Guards is going down to 30% pen, which has needed to happen forever. They are nerfing Sunfire Aegis, which, personal opinion, that is very likely a good thing. Sunfire's damage was kind of insane. I think a lot of people noticed that if you could actually stack up Sunfire, it was kind of an insane damage item. But yeah, so the damage per stack is going down. That's not a huge sweeping significant nerf, but it is a nerf. Moonstone Renewer, heal and shield power is going down, so healing and shielding from that item is going down. And Demonic Embrace, the percent health damage is going down, but only for melee champions, which I find really weird. I don't really understand it. Over here, we have some rune and item drain changes. So Conquer Healing is getting nerfed from 9.6 to 8.5. Now, these tie into some later changes. I'll actually just go over these right now because otherwise people are just going to start screaming bloody murder. By the way, everyone make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. I'm going to just turn off my camera. There's no way I can show this stuff with my camera still on here. So all healing effects in the game reduced by about 10%. All shielding effects in the game reduced by about 10%. Everybody get that? Enhanced Grievous Wounds is going from 60 to 50. Standard Grievous Wounds is going from 40 to 30. So you will no longer be forced to buy a healing debuff item particularly in the early game, just because without it, you will literally do nothing to healing champions. Now, healing champions do get a benefit of higher armor and magic resist, so the amount they heal is worth more. The problem is also champions that heal based on damage will have the amount they heal reduced by armor and magic resist, because if you need to heal based on doing damage, then yeah, you're going to be doing less damage. So yeah, but in addition to that, the grievous wounds is going down. Now let me math this out for you guys. Going from 50 to 60% means that healing under enhanced grievous wounds is actually going up by what is that? Is it 25%? That's actually a significant amount. People don't realize that. If I'm only healing 40% of my total healing, so let's say I healed 100, I'd be healing 40. Let me just put this in numbers for you guys who didn't finish high school. And now, if I have a healing debuff, I'll heal for 50 if I heal for 100. That is a 25% increase to healing. So all healing under enhanced is going up by 25%. So despite healing being nerfed, healing is actually going to be buffed if people play properly and debuff it. This means, in particular, champions that heal a lot will no longer be screwed over randomly by things like Ignite, by things like a Thornmail Rush. That is a good change. Let me just be clear. These are good changes right here. I've advocated for this forever. This is a very, very good change. Very good change. I don't... The problem I have with this change up here is all heal effects in the game reduced by about 10%. Are they talking in addition to the amount they're nerfing, or all shield effects in the game reduced by about 10%? I don't understand if they're talking like on champions specifically, or are they talking overall? I don't know. But anyway, let's go over the specific changes they have here. Conqueror healing is going from 9.6 to 8.5. Now, just to be clear, that means that Conqueror will actually be healing more under the healing debuff changes. If people actually build a healing debuff, it will be healing more. If people don't build healing debuffs, it will be healing less. In other words, this is a good change. I'm just being very clear. This is a good change. Gore Drinker Omnivamp is going from 8. It's going to 8 from 10%. Now, let me just be clear. That means Gore Drinker, after this change, will be healing for 4% if you have the healing debuff item. Gore Drinker right now, if you have the healing debuff item, heals for 4%. So Gore Drinker actually remains unchanged, other than the active, which will be healing more, under the healing debuff change. This is not a bad change, but it does mean that the one issue with this change is that, once again, if they have more armor, if they have more magic resist, you'll be healing for less. I'm just a little bit worried of that. Mav Malmortius Omnivamp is going down. I'm going to be honest, this probably should have happened anyway. I think Mav Malmortius was too strong in like a 1v1, actually. In a team fight, it was fine. In the overall game, I actually think Mav Malmortius was fine. But in a 1v1, when a mage would pop your shield and then you'd start healing, it was actually a little bit too strong of an item. So I think they maybe should have just reduced the Omnivamp entirely. Because, yeah. Anyway, Eclipse Omnivamp is going down. I don't really care about this. Eclipse is... Honestly, whatever. I mean, some champions can use it. Riftmaker Omnivamp is going down. But here's the thing about Riftmaker. I think Riftmaker is actually getting buffed overall. It's losing only 1% Omnivamp compared to Gore Drinker losing 2% compared to some of these other items losing stuff. So it seems overall Gore Drinker has been targeted with the hardest nerf, which I'm not sure I agree with. It's not like Gore Drinker was some crazy top tier item. And I would rather them have nerfed the active than nerfed the actual Omnivamp. Well, I don't know how I feel about that. The Omnivamp, the problem with Gore Drinker's Omnivamp, I'll just be blunt about this. Gore Drinker should heal 5% total healing like Gore Drinker. Gore Drinker doesn't have Omnivamp. It is like true healing. It just heals all healing, doesn't get reduced for AoEs, right? Gore Drinker, by the way, does this mean Conqueror is being nerfed to Omnivamp? Because that would kill the round. Gore Drinker should just be the same thing at 5%. AoEs should not be reduced by Gore Drinker. That would be, in my opinion, the best way to balance Gore Drinker for abuse cases. Because there are some champions that can heal a lot on Gore Drinker, and there's some champions that don't actually heal a lot on it and heal mostly on the active. I think that Riot should just make Gore Drinker 5% total healing, not reduced by AoEs. That would be the most fair way to do it. Now, let's go to Riftmaker. Riftmaker is only seeing a 1% drop, but its mythic passive doesn't seem to be changed. So, Riftmaker's Omnivamp is going from 8 to 16% to 7 to 15%. That is not a large nerf, particularly when you consider the Grievous Wounds nerfs. Omnivamp is, of course, reduced by AoEs. So some champions like Singed are still going to get absolutely nothing out of it. Even if they do try to go Riftmaker, they'll get nothing out of it. But some champions like Mordekaiser, particularly into the late game, their Qs will be giving a chunking of healing. This is the jungle item. I'm not actually sure why they're nerfing the jungle item. If it's overpowered, they should have nerfed it a year ago, right? Divine Sunderer healing is getting significantly toned down. This is actually a significant tone down on Divine Sunderer healing, which probably needed to happen. When I think damage has been reduced, what item will be overpowered? I think Divine Sunderer. So that's actually a very good change. Blade of the Ruined King is losing lifesteal. I'm not sure why they increased the damage on Blade of the Ruined King only to nerf the lifesteal. It seems to have only screwed over tanks really badly. It screwed over tanks, it screwed over bruisers, it just made it a premier 1v1 item. We're even seeing some champions abuse it in the top lane now on ranged champions who got its damage buffed again. Ranged champions are rushing it again and just poking the crap out of you. Bloodthirster is getting nerfed. Remember, it's actually going to be healing more if you're full healing debuffed. So, yeah. Maybe they should have just made Bloodthirster heal less on minions. Maybe keep it at 20%, but make it like this item only heals for 1/4 of its value on minions. Because, to be honest, when I think Bloodthirster, I don't think in combat healing, even though AD carries can heal in combat quite frequently. The most I think of, and this is my personal opinion, is, boy, if I don't kill that AD carry from full HP, they will walk over to a minion wave and heal to full on 4 autos. If that. I think that's what most people think, right? Immortal Shield Bow is going down. That's fair. That item, yeah. Vampiric Scepter is going down. I don't really agree with that. Again, if Vampiric Scepter is overpowered, just nerf it. If it's not overpowered. Elixir of Wrath is going down. That's probably fair as well. The nerf to healing debuffs means that an elixir that only comes out late game should probably have its physical vamp reduced. Once again, though, I think that physical vamp should ignore AoE and probably just make Elixir of Wrath like 8% and then make it ignore the AoE debuff on healing. I think that'd be fair. 8% total physical healing. Hell, why not just make it total healing, period, so that some champions who don't need mana and also don't want Elixir of Iron can actually have... Because, you know, there are some champions who late game, they don't need tenacity, and they also don't want mana regen, but they also scale on AP. So maybe just make it 8% total healing, like Conqueror will be. That's it. I think that would actually be the best way to balance it. So in total, what do I think here? So far, anyway, these nerfs, these buffs, I'm a little bit sketched about. Maybe the health growth should be toned down to like 10. In particular, there's some champions who do % health damage that are going to be getting better. There's some champions who are very squishy for a reason. I mean, I'm going to bring out some actual numbers here. So here is Set. 600 to 2,000, 600 to 2,300 health, 33 to 101 armor. That is a lot of health and that is a lot of armor, right? Now let's look at Karthus. Karthus has 550 to 2,029 health and 18 to 77 armor. So the difference between Set and Karthus, these buffs, where are they? These buffs are so sweeping that it will make Karthus now feel nearly as tanky as Set is now. And I feel like that, like some champions have been deliberately balanced on being squished really hard early game. And Karthus isn't even the best example of it because Karthus actually has a decent amount of base health, right? So I'm just saying, Riot, these changes are good, but in particular, I think nerfing healing, where is it? I think nerfing healing, let me put my camera back on so you guys can see what I'm emphasizing. I like to emphasize, right? I think nerfing healing and nerfing healing debuffs is the best part of this patch. I've been saying that for years now. This is the best part. This is also good. Nerfing Void Staff, nerfing Lord Dominic's is good. In return, nerfing Moonstone and Sunfire is good. I'm unsure about this Demonic Embrace for melee. Like, you think that only melee champions building Demonic Embrace are going to be overpowered. The ranged champions building it will be absolutely fine. It's only the melee champions building it that will be overpowered. This seems like a bit of an overstretch. This seems a bit like, well, we're nerfing all the healing for AD bruisers. Surely we must also nerf AP bruisers. If AP bruiser itemization is good, then that would be the first time in history it's good, Riot. So, I don't know. Maybe this is just a nerf for champions like Zac. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to nerf Zac and Cho'Gath and Mordekaiser's late game without directly nerfing them. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But it just feels like we're nerfing AD bruisers. We might as well nerf AP bruisers. But this just seems so totally, like, no one else's percent health damage or anything like that is getting nerfed, right? Anyway, so yeah. Overall, I really like these changes. I really like these changes. This significant buff. If it was just like everyone gets plus 70 base HP, I'd be okay, right? But the health and MR growth in particular just makes it seem like everyone will need to get penetration. Now, I do want to talk about what item changes aren't happening, because these are important. Okay, I know I'm out of order here, but shut up. What changes aren't happening? You do not see a Black Cleaver nerf here, and you do not see a Cyrilda's nerf here. That is significant, because that means that for Armor Pen, which I'm sure every champion late game will need now, for Armor Pen, AD champions will now have 3 different options. Black Cleaver, Cyrilda's, Lord Dominic's. AP champions will have Void Staff, Void Staff, Void Staff. Personal opinion. I think that Riot should go through and maybe Riot, we go through and we change or add a new item and we give it like the same passive as Void Staff so you can't stack them, but maybe an item like Black Cleaver, but for mages. Because I shouldn't even say mages, AP bruisers. Because right now, AP bruisers have Demonic Embrace, which you're nerfing, but they don't actually have a way to penetrate the additional 13.6 magic resist. Yeah. In addition to that, I'm a bit worried that the increase of magic resist being lower than the increase in armor. I'm a bit worried that that is going to hurt AD bruisers a bit harder, because a lot of AD bruisers do not have large sustain damage. Some of them do. So Darius has lots of sustain damage. Then you have some champions like Aatrox who do not. Some of them like Olaf have a lot of sustain damage. Some of them like Garen do not. So not every AD bruiser is given a lot of sustain damage. So that's just something to bear in mind. I do notice, Riot, that you didn't nerf Black Cleaver. I do notice, Riot, that you didn't nerf Cyrilda's. Okay? So I do notice that. I do see you. Let's move on a little bit. They are buffing Doran's Ring mana regen. They're buffing Shard of True Ice mana regen. Conditioning is getting a nerf, which is probably fair. Yeah, I mean, if you can get a crap load of resists and penetration has been nerfed, Lord Dominic's is coming down, Void Staff is coming down. Those are the 2 items, in my opinion, that were most hurting tanks. If those are coming down, then it's fair to nerf the... a lot of tanks would go conditioning, maybe not in the high ranks, but particularly in the low ranks, a lot of them would go conditioning. Personal opinion, Riot? Hear me out on this one. What if you made conditioning stack? You get 1 armor, 1 magic resist as you enter the game. Then for each minute that passes, or maybe make it 0 and then each minute that passes, so you only get, by the time the laning phase starts, you get 1, right? Maybe make it you get 1 extra health, or say 1 extra armor and magic resist each minute until minute 5, and then you start getting, until minute 5, then you get 5 armor, 5 magic resist, then at minute 10, you get the 4%, something like that. So you get less total, but it comes out quicker in the game to affect the laning phase more, because that would reduce the impact of conditioning in the late game while making it a bit more impactful in the early game. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. I'm just spitballing, because with less pen, obviously conditioning gets stronger. That's just how relative balance works. Baron Nashor is getting buffed. Not really much to talk here. It's doing more damage. Again, turret damage is getting buffed. This seems to try to counteract the changes to damage reduction from armor per level and more base health. seems to try to make dives worse. These are rather significant because while the first hit will do 17 more, the last hit is going up to nearly 120 more. That's a lot. That is certainly a lot. Not really sure what to say about that one. The only thing I will say is that I did not know the inner turret and the inhibitor use the same, and I didn't know the Nexus did less than the inhibitor turret. Didn't know that, so good to know, I guess. I don't know. That's it. So that's it for these changes. So let's go over them. Will tanks now be overpowered? My personal opinion is no. 80 bruisers, or I should say 80 champions as a whole, still have 3 items. Lord Dominic's nerf hurts 80 carries only. And in my opinion, 80 carries were definitely going to be overpowered if you gave them 300 more health, 20 more armor, and 13 more magic resist. That is a significant amount more tankiness for a class known for being squishy. If I could just bust this out here for a second, if we look at Israel, Ezreal will now be doing what he's doing right now, but with 20 more armor and 300 more health, this champion will no longer be even the little bit of squishy they tried to make him. He's not even that squishy, to be honest, at level 18, and they're removing that. So even if you catch a champion like Israel, he's now going to resist that. Definitely, that does make him a lot stronger. So nerfing Lord Dominic's good. So let's just briefly go over this. Will tanks now be overpowered? My personal opinion, no. Actually, just no. I'm just looking at this and I just don't see it. See, here's the thing, guys. Sunfire is getting nerfed, which I think is probably fair to do in this change, right? Black Cleaver not nerfed. Cerilda's not nerfed. You still have 3 options. You can still penetrate their armor. You can still penetrate their magic resist. We can see here conditioning got toned down. Importantly, and I think this is something a lot of people don't know, magic resist going up by 13 means that a lot of tanks who have no penetration on their kits will find themselves doing less % damage. If I could just look here for a second, even some champions that you might think are going to be doing better, which I agree, they might actually be doing better, like Ornn, their cooldowns are so long, 7 on his Q, 10 on his W, 12 on his E. These cooldowns are so long that in the late game, if Ornn can no longer one-shot you, that's going to lead to a situation where Ornn has to kind of just awkwardly sit around and do what? I guess just stack up Sunfire, which got nerfed. I don't think that's that great. I think definitely Ornn will do better with a nerfed Void Staff, with a nerfed Lord Dominic's. Ornn will be better. But then the nerf Sunfire and the addition of more magic resist to everyone, that means he's going to be doing worse. Because, again, Ornn doesn't have low cooldowns. He can't fall back on anything. He's going to... And again, I play Aatrox. I know exactly how this is going to feel. When people end at 20 to 30% health, probably leaning somewhere to around there, maybe like... When people end with like 25% of their health remaining and they're not dead, what's Ornn going to do? He's going to stand there awkwardly. Kind of the same thing Aatrox is going to do, if I'm going to be blunt. He's going to just stand there awkwardly. Just like, okay. So... But... I mean, at least Aatrox is kind of like his passive to work towards, right? Like something like that, I guess. Ornn, what? He's just going to try to Sunfire you to death? Like, maybe he ends up being overpowered. Maybe I'm just totally off base right now. Maybe I'm just totally wrong. I don't know. Just kind of one thing to think about. Hell, even, let's look at everybody's favorite champion, Sion. People are saying, oh, but Hashinshin, won't Sion be overpowered now with these changes? Won't Sion be top tier? Well, let's look at Sion. What's the cooldowns and his abilities? His Q is 6. But it, I believe, starts, only after you end it. So it's 6 seconds plus duration. His W is 11 plus duration. It only goes on cooldown when you end it. And his E is 8 and does basically no damage late game. Once again, all a tank Sion is going to be doing is standing around waiting for Sunfire. If he doesn't kill you, but instead through the changes and all that stuff, let's say you used to end up at like 20% of your health, and then he would stand there with a Sunfire, maybe get another Grasp proc and finish you off. Well, now if you end up at like 40% of your health, boy, Sasan used his ultimate and everything, and he got you to Slight Lander half HP after this change. Like, he's just going to stand there awkwardly, right? I don't think he's going to be particularly benefited from this change. That's just my opinion. So I think these changes are mostly going to counteract the tank buffs. I actually hope Riot kind of tones these down to be honest with you. This is a lot of armored magic resist to give to everyone, but we'll see. We'll see. The penetration items benefit tanks, but this hurts tanks. Everyone getting tankier hurts tanks, and that's what people aren't thinking of. So will tanks be overpowered? In my humble opinion, I actually do not believe so. So I guess that's this entire video. It's probably just gonna be uploaded without editing because, okay, some of you actually asked earlier, Hashinshin, why don't you have music on your videos? I'm uploading them without editing, and to be honest, I normally keep the music so low that most of you can't hear it anyway. Like if I watch my stuff on my TV, I can't, like, and I do watch my stuff to try to critique it. I can't even notice if I'm playing music on my TV. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you all like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. All these things help me. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. You can find a link to my Patreon in my description. That helps me make these sorts of videos and continue to do stuff. So thank you for subscribing to my Patreon. Thank you for being a YouTube member. Thank you for liking. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Goodbye, everybody.